Welcome to Global English. This is an English learning channel. This video provides useful vocabulary words and related examples. Conception.
概念，怀孕。
The formation of an idea or plan, the act of becoming pregnant. Their conception of freedom differs greatly from ours. She found out about her conception during a routine checkup. The conception of democracy has evolved over time. Concession.
让步，特许权。
A thing that is granted, especially in response to demands, a special right. The company made significant concessions in the contract negotiations. The government granted a concession to build on the land. Her concession helped to break the deadlock in the talks. Concise.
简洁的，扼要的。
Expressing much in few words, brief and to the point. Her presentation was clear and concise, covering all key points. A concise summary of the findings was provided in the report. The article offers a concise explanation of the scientific theory. Condemn.
谴责，责难。
To express strong disapproval of, to criticize strongly. The community leaders condemned the violent protest. The organization condemned the use of child labor. He was condemned by society for his crimes. Condemnation.
谴责。
The act of expressing strong disapproval. Public condemnation followed the scandal involving the politician. The judge's condemnation of the defendant was severe. The condemnation of corruption was widespread. Condense.
浓缩，压缩。
To make something more dense or compact, to shorten or abridge. She condensed her notes to fit them on one page. The novel was condensed into a 2-hour movie. Please condense the report into a concise summary. Confederation.
联盟，联邦。
A group of states or organizations that come together for a common purpose. The countries formed a confederation to promote trade. A confederation was established to coordinate efforts. The Union evolved into a confederation of independent states. Confer.
商讨，讨论。
To discuss or exchange opinions. We will confer about the project tomorrow. She needs to confer with her team before deciding. The doctors conferred to plan the treatment. Confession.
承认，供述，供认，告解。
An acknowledgement or admission of a fault or wrongdoing. He made a full confession to the police. The priest heard her confession in the church. She made a tearful confession about her mistake. Confidential.
机密的。
Meant to be kept secret or private. The documents are confidential and classified. She handled all the confidential information carefully. Please keep these plans confidential for now. Configuration.
配置，构造。
An arrangement of parts or elements. The software configuration needs an update. The car's engine configuration is very complex. The configuration of the system was challenging. Conform.
遵从，符合。
To comply with rules, standards, or laws. All employees must conform to the dress code. The design must conform to safety standards. He refused to conform to the traditional customs. Congressional.
国会的。
Relating to a Congress. The congressional hearing is scheduled for Monday. She attended a congressional meeting in Washington. The bill needs congressional approval to pass. Conquest.
征服，占领。
The act of conquering or gaining control over a place or people. The conquest of the city took several weeks. His conquest of new markets was successful. The conquest brought the entire region under control. Conscientious.
尽责的，认真的。
Wishing to do one's work or duty well and thoroughly. She is a very conscientious worker. His conscientious efforts were appreciated by all. He approaches his duties in a conscientious manner. Consciousness.
意识、知觉。
The state of being aware of and able to think, the awareness of one's own existence and environment. He regained consciousness after the surgery. The accident caused a temporary loss of consciousness. Her consciousness of the situation was clear. Consecutive.
连续的。
Following continuously, in unbroken or logical sequence. She won 3 consecutive awards for her performance. The team had 5 consecutive victories last season. He worked for 10 consecutive hours without a break. Consensus.
共识、一致。
General agreement or concord, collective opinion. The team reached a consensus on the new strategy. The meeting ended with a consensus among all members. Building consensus takes time and effort. Consent.
同意、许可。
Permission for something to happen, agreement. The manager asked for consent before proceeding. The contract requires written consent from both parties. His consent is essential for final approval. Consent.
同意、许可。
To give permission or agree to something. He did not consent to the plan initially. She consented to join the project after discussing. She consented to let her child go on the school trip. Conservation.
保护、保存。
The act of preserving or protecting something, especially the environment or cultural heritage. Conservation of wildlife is a global concern. They are involved in conservation efforts to save the rainforest. The museum focuses on the conservation of historical artifacts. Conserve.
保护、节约。
To protect from loss or harm, to use resources carefully to avoid waste. We must conserve water during the drought. The government aims to conserve natural resources. He tries to conserve energy by turning off lights. Consolation.
安慰、慰藉。
Comfort received by a person after a loss or disappointment. He offered her words of consolation after the loss. Her friend's support was a great consolation. Winning a small prize was some consolation for his effort. Console.
安慰、抚慰。
To comfort someone at a time of grief or disappointment. She consoled him after his team's loss. He tried to console her during her difficult time. His words were meant to console the grieving family. Consolidate.
合并、加强。
To combine several things into a single, more effective whole, to make something stronger or more solid. They decided to consolidate their companies for better efficiency. The team will consolidate its resources for the next project. He aims to consolidate his position within the company. Consortium.
联盟、财团。
An association of several businesses or organizations formed to undertake an enterprise or project. The consortium invested in the new infrastructure project. Several universities formed a consortium for research purposes. The consortium agreed on the terms of the partnership. Conspicuous.
显眼的、显著的。
Easily seen or noticed, attracting attention because of being unusual or remarkable. Her bright red coat was conspicuous in the crowd. The sign was conspicuous from a distance. His absence was conspicuous during the meeting. Conspiracy.
阴谋、密谋。
A secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. They were accused of being involved in a conspiracy. The novel's plot revolves around a complex conspiracy. He uncovered a conspiracy to commit fraud. Constable.
警官、治安官。
A police officer of the lowest rank in the UK and some other countries. The constable patrolled the streets at night. She reported the theft to the local constable. The constable directed traffic during the event. Constituency.
选区、选民。
A geographical area represented by a member of a legislative body, the body of voters in such an area. He represents a large urban constituency. The constituency voted overwhelmingly for the new candidate. She frequently visits her constituency to address concerns. Constituent.
选民、成分、
An individual voter within a constituency, a component or part of a larger whole. He listens carefully to the concerns of his constituents. The main constituent of the solution is water. The politician held a meeting with her constituents. Thank you for your watching. Your subscription serves as our driving force to create more videos. See you next time.